Hi guys, so today we're going to be working again with Divi. I want to show you how to create some really cool blurb mouse over effects. So as you can see here on the page, we've got 6 blurb modules. I'm going to show you the mouse over effects and how we go about this. So before we start, the most important thing is making sure that the images that you're going to be using are super high quality, and also they're all the same size. Also, you'll notice on all of these blurb modules that we've got 2 lines of text and a heading, so it's important to create the text in roughly the similar size so that you don't spread over multiple lines. It keeps the modules looking really good. And then on mouse over, what I've done is to create a fast effect. So when we mouse over, as you can see here, we just reverse colors on headings, text, and we leave the image alone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through how we do that. So the first thing that we're going to go through is show you how to create a single blurb module, and then what we're going to do after that is go to the page, and we're going to duplicate the blurb module and then customize it. So as you can see, I've already prepared one here, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through all of the settings that I used to create this. So the first thing that we want to do is you want to create your page, create your row with, in my case, I've got 3 columns, and I'm going to be adding blurb modules as we go along. So what we do is we go through and we configure up the first blurb module to get the desired effects, and then what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate that and then customize it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to go through all of the settings here. So the text title, as you can see, is uppercase, so I just have that in uppercase. It gives it a good effect. The background is obviously suited to your theme. Now don't worry about all of the headings here. I've just created a blank page just to show you this blurb module. So the first thing that we've got is the title. Then we're going to add some body content, which is just standard text. Then we're going to add an image or an icon. So in this instance I've got an image, and the size of my images are, as you can see here, 357 by 242. And I'm also adding the title and the alt description text, although we do have to add that separately in the Divi module. So we've got the image created and we've added it. If you want to link off to a page, then this is where you would add it. If you want to just link the title, I prefer linking the whole module itself, so that when you actually do the mouse over and you click on it, anywhere, it takes you off to the page that you want. So we add that into the module link, and then we're going to set our background. So in this instance we've got standard background, and then we've got hover background. So to enable this, you want to come down to where it says background options, and you want to click this little arrow here. So clicking that switches on the hover option, and then all we do is we pick our color. If it's not on the standard color set, you just click on the 3 dots here, and that will bring you with some additional colors. If you want to add anything else, then you can just select it and then create it. So if I go to this option here, that gives me the hex editor, and also I can add transparency or select whatever color I want. So that's the standard color. Then we're going to go to what happens when we hover over the blurb module, and we're going to select the color again that you want it to go to when you mouse over it. And then finally you want to give it an admin label. So I like to make sure that I know what everything is, so I name it according to what the content is. So that's it for creating your blurb module. Next we're going to come into the design customization. So we go to the design tab here, and we're going to go to our image and icon. So this is all default. I've not changed any of this, so I want my image at the top rather than to the left, and I don't want any rounded corners because I want it to be nice and sharp. If you were to set the rounded corners, you would get the rounded corners effect appear on your blurb module. I'm not having any image borders at all, so that is set to 0, and the image border style doesn't matter at all, but you can change this again for standard and when you hover over it just by clicking the little arrow here. And I don't have any image box shadow for this effect. Continuing to scroll down, we move down to our text option. So what we've got here is the text. This text here that I'm highlighting, this is the text that we're talking about when we go through these effects. So standard, I've got it set to light. Again, I've switched on the hover effect by clicking the little arrow here, and then on hover I'm setting it to dark. Title text is the next one. So default blurb module's title defaults to H4, but I want to use an H2 tag in mine. I'm going to set the title font weight to bold. I want to center align it, and again I'm using a standard color and hover effect. So in this instance, because I'm using a grey background, I'm going to use a yellow title color, and then when I hover over it I'm going to use black. So as we can see here, we've got the yellow title, and then hovering over it gives you the black, and what the text is, so it's light. When I hover over it, it's dark, so it adds the grey and the white. So we continue to scroll down. I'm not using any text shadow. Now we move to the body text. I don't actually need this, so I can reset that, and I'm going to switch that off. Just going to save that so you can see that actually it shouldn't change it. Refresh the page. So because we're using the overall text, that actually keeps it. So we don't actually need, you don't need to have that set unless you're doing some other text that actually is complete overkill. It gives you a little bit more control. So we go back to our body text here. That is all default. All I've done is say center align it. Again, we do need that. So back to design, body text, we've said center, and that centers the text here. We're going to carry on scrolling down. I'm not using any body text shadow. Sizing, I've accepted all of the defaults. Now the next important one is spacing. So to give it the border around the image, I've set mine to use equal padding all the way around, and I've set that to 10 pixels. Moving on to border, again I'm not using any border control, so we can completely ignore that. Box shadow, I have no box shadow. Filters, I've accepted the default. Transform, I'm not doing anything, so transform gives you the ability to enlarge, rotate, skew if, or anything else that you want to do with it, your module or mouse over, for instance. And animation, I'm not using any animation, so I've got that set to none, and the image icon animation is top to bottom. Now the next really important thing is, by default, Divi creates a transition motion. So normally it creates it using ease, and it gives it 300 milliseconds. Now what that means is when you mouse over, you get a slight fade in and fade out effect. It eases the effect in and it eases it out. So to give it a instant mouse over effect, I actually set this to 0. So to get to that, we want to use the advanced tab, and we're going to go down to transitions. Now normally it's set to 300 milliseconds. Now I can show you that effect here if I just update that quickly. Just take me a few seconds. You get an easing in and an easing out with the effect. So we're going to refresh the page. You could always do preview, but if you watch when I mouse over, you get this blurring in and out effect, like a slow motion effect. I really don't like that on these. I like it to be instant and crisp. So I go back in and I go to my advanced tab, I go down to transitions and I set that to 0. You can use preview, obviously you don't need to update the page, but I like to do that, so let's do that. Refresh it. Now you remember what that easing in and easing out transition was, so now it's completely instant. It's much better in my opinion anyway. You guys choose how you want to do it. So the final thing that we want to do is very, very important for your SEO. So when you've added all of your content, you want to create some alt text for your image, so the search engines pick it up. And to do that, you want to come down to click on the Advanced tab. You want to go to Attributes, and we want to add our alt text here. So we're going to call this Test Blurb alt text. We're going to save that. We're going to update it. We're going to refresh our page, and then we're going to have a look at that. So you do a right click. I'm using Microsoft Edge browser, so it's right click, inspect element, and I'm going to just make sure I've got the right area. There we go, and here's our alt text here. Test blurb alt text. Alt text is supposed to say, but you get what I'm trying to do there. So once you're happy with your blurb, you've got all the desired effects, then all we're going to do is to simply duplicate the module and duplicate the module here. Now you can go in and you can customize whatever you want to do. So more title, and I'm going to do some blah blah. Okay, and then we're going to change our image. So that's a lovely engine. Let's use that gear stuff again. So all the images are the same. Although you've got alternate text here, you still need to remember to add it into your Divi module. So that's that updated. You would update the link. Background all stays the same. I'm going to change the admin label to Blurb 2. Design, that all is going to stay exactly the same, and I'm going to say more test blurb alt text. So that's the second module completed, and now the third module completed. Amazing title. More blurby text. We're going to change our image. I'm going to let's use a wheel this time. Again, 357 by 242 are the image sizes I'm using, so it's adamant that absolutely critical that you have the same image size on everything. Module link, if you're going to be linking off anywhere. Background stays the same. Admin label I always update to make sure I've got the right one in there, and then I go to my advanced tab and I'm going to change this again, more and more blurb alt text. Okay, so that is it. I'm going to update the page. And then we're going to refresh it, and we should have all the same stuff, same pictures or similar pictures. Title's updated, text is updated, alt text is updated, and there you have it. And you can put as many of these as you want. It's up to you. Now, all of these effects are available for most of the modules. Specifically for me, to get this effect of the different service types, I use 6, but obviously you can use as many as you want, and you can do it in any of the Divi Blurb modules. Divi is so powerful. It's a fantastic builder. I use the Divi theme. If I'm designing client sites, then I will always create a child theme and add the various screenshot images from my business to advertise my business, and provide all my support contact details on there as well for them. So that's really it. I hope you found the video useful. If you did, then if you can like it and also subscribe to our channel, we will be adding more Divi help and support going forward, so you don't miss anything. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. If you've got any questions or you need any help with any design issues, then drop us a comment under this video, and we'll be more than happy to get in touch with you and help you where we can. That's all there is to it, but just want to say thank you very much for watching, and I hope you found this video useful.